Is that gonna be our intro music then? Welcome to the Rocky Mountain Book Club, everybody. I'm Andrew Ingram. I'm a writer, a comedian, a photographer. I live in Colorado Springs in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains, and I like books.
Nerd.
Who are you?
I'm Bex. I am a poet, musician, and artist. I did those out of order. I had already planned to be like artist, musician, poet, so it made that fun little acronym, AMP. It didn't work out. I'm an artist, musician, and a poet.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah.
And do you like books?
Yes. I like to listen to books.
That's fine. I think that's fine. It's 2005.
I've read a lot, though.
Look, if you're a purist and you only like to read books and you clicked on this podcast and you're like, I only want to listen to a podcast where people only read books with their eyes.
Then get out!
No,
I'm just kidding. Come back. Don't leave.
I mean, give us a chance to, like, charm you with our sparkling personalities and our witty analysis of some pieces of literature, and maybe you'll have a change of heart, because I think however you consume books, you know, as long as you're getting the words as they were laid down by the author, then you're consuming them in a just way. Most stories were given orally for most of human history. It's only been in the past couple hundred years that regular people even started being able to read. So I don't actually think it's weird for people to listen to books. I listened to the book we're talking about today because I had a crap month and didn't have time to sit down and read it, even though we're starting this project. I do want to read a lot of the books physically in my hands, because I think they're I retain different things both ways. Different things stick out to me. You know, and I think the nice thing about audiobooks is, one, I learned how to pronounce the names right, and two, I get a little bit more of that authorial intent when it comes to how characters sound and their mannerisms, because a lot of times, you know, I just throw something up in my head, and the living memory in my brain has more impact on how I view characters than what the author's actually writing sometimes when I'm reading the book. Anyway, that was a tangent on how I consume literature. What are we talking about today, babe?
Hey,
we're a thing. It's fine. What are we talking about today, babe?
We are talking about my childhood favorite book, Little Women by Louisa May Alcott.
Hell yeah. I don't want to shock anybody. I thought it was pretty good.
It's fine.
Louisa May Alcott, pretty good writer.
She's alright.
You know, for like one of those, you know, turn of the century when like modern fiction was being invented, and like, yeah, she's pretty good writer. No, I thought this book was great. I thought just kind of along the invention of young adult fiction. You know,
I agree with that.
There are kind of a few other writers around that time that were writing books that weren't just for little kids or adults. They were for people in kind of a transformative part of their lives where they have to figure out what the fuck they're gonna do. Oh yeah, if you don't like profanity, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. Different, it's listed as explicit. Check out a different I'm sure there's plenty of Louisa May Alcott podcasts out there. But we're getting to know each other, so I hope profanities. You'd swear at us too, I promise.
I mean, honestly, I don't really fucking care if you like it or not.
That too. I was just trying to be polite.
Ah.
But yeah, you know who didn't use any profanity in their work, or barely any? Louisa May Alcott.
That is true.
She may have used damn a couple of times to make a point, but
yeah, it was mostly like, I mean, in Little Women especially, it's mostly like just slang of the time, like blast.
Right.
And
that's one that should
dreadful.
Come back. Man, blast is a good one.
Blast.
Yeah.
Blast it.
Luke Skywalker uses it.
I like blasted all to hell.
That's blasted all to hell.
Yeah.
That's a good, hey, dynamite just got invented term. Yeah, so anyway, we're hoping we do this every month is the plan. We'll announce, at least for the first couple months, the next book at the end of the episode. So stay tuned for that, or fast forward to the end.
That way you can read along.
That way you can read along. So we'll put out on the social... Obviously, if you're seeing this, you probably saw a post on social media about it beforehand. Maybe you read the book, maybe you didn't. If you didn't read the book, we're going to get into spoilers. I don't want to put you off of reading it, but I don't think spoilers are that...
And honestly, if you didn't read the book, I'll bet you've seen one of the movies.
Yeah, I mean, this is...
There are like 4 movies, a TV show.
Our first 2, and maybe our first few episodes will be books that have adaptations. Yes. Some of them will be easier to find than others, probably. I don't know where our next book is sitting, but we don't have to talk about that right now.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we like talking about books, so we're gonna go over. I think the plan is a little bit about the author of the book first, and then we'll get into the plot of the book and the characters, our thoughts on it, our feelings. We want this podcast to kind of be a dialogue, so maybe we'll work something out where people who comment, we can read some of those on air if you have thoughts about the book. We're gonna be probably posting this from Substack, posted out to Apple and Spotify and everything from there. But we'll accept comments on all the social media platforms. We'd love to talk to you guys. But yeah, let's get into a little bit about Louisa May Alcott. What have you found out about her, babe?
Well, the most interesting thing that I had kind of learned about her that I didn't really know. I knew that she was a Civil War nurse, but she volunteers as a Civil War nurse and contracted typhoid, which eventually led to her being sent home from the war, and she never really got over that.
Right.
And the other thing is she the publication of her letters in book form called Hospital Sketches. It actually brought out her first dip into fame with being a writer. That came out in 1863.
Wait, what brought her to initial fame?
Hospital Sketches.
Okay.
It's a book that she released after she was sent home from the war. And it's got sketches and stuff like that and writing about what she experienced during that time.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. That's cool. So that's interesting because that's more metal than what Jo goes through, right? She sets the characters as younger than herself in the book.
Right.
Even though those characters are loosely based off her and her sisters.
Yeah, they are, but the thing, she does have a lot in common with Jo, though. A lot of her stories before Little Women was released, those stories were more lurid and had kind of a gothic like
Yeah,
horror
like
theme
what
to
Joe
it.
is writing.
Right, exactly
Yeah.
what Joe was writing. So that was pretty similar.
Not quite bodice ripping, but
Right.
you know, salacious tales
Correct.
and gory tales, stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, well, and it lends itself because she can write because she had like a classical education.
Sure.
You know, write bad classical literature quickly.
Right.
You know, which is what like a lot of that gothic tabloid stuff was.
That's true.
You know, it's like it ain't Shakespeare, but to somebody who's never read Shakespeare, sort of sounds like Shakespeare.
I mean, sure. So her dad basically directed most of her education.
Yeah.
And she grew up in the company of writers like Ralph Waldo Emerson and Henry David Thoreau and Theodore Parker. Yeah. And that was at his innovative Temple School.
Cool. So
Yeah.
her dad ran like a experimental school, basically.
Yeah, that's kind of what it. That's sorry, not kind of. That is yes. It was just kind of they were doing different. I didn't read that much about it, so
Yeah.
cut that out too.
No.
Not that part. Just but okay. So hold on. She I love the show Dickinson. I've talked to you about this before. It's on Apple TV
Yeah.
Plus. And they really do like kind of touch on how she was like a hustler.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because her father ran like this utopian, I think it's like a utopian community.
Kind of like a commune or whatever.
Correct, called
Yeah.
Fruitlands, and it just completely failed. And she had
Yeah.
sisters and a mother, and
Yeah.
so she was trying to make money as quickly as she could.
Right.
And they really covered that in that show, and I thought that was also delightful because
Yeah.
it was fun to see her appear in a show about Emily Dickinson.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all of these people were contemporaries, right?
Right.
You know, and they brushed shoulders, and they were all, they were sort of all very high-minded, and, you know, obviously, it's less so in the book than in the movie. Or maybe not even less so, just more subtly portrayed in the book. That, like, Joe's quietly, like, a very progressive person.
Sure.
And, like, maybe her dad is too, if less for different reasons. But that they, you know, this all comes from their Christian values. Is they, you know, they believe in the freedom and actually believe in. I wonder how much of that was post-war makes you look good. Although if her dad was running a utopian community in the, you know, maybe that was the deal. Were they Quaker initially, or
Who? Sorry.
no, the the Elcotts, or the I don't think they were Quaker, but it's interesting he was running a utopian community. That's great. I would read for days about that.
Yeah, I probably should get into that. I wish I had prepared that better.
That's okay. We're learning our jobs here. We're learning, you know, what's cool and what's interesting.
Sure. Okay. The thing that I like that. Oh fuck! I lost my point because before you asked me about if they were Quaker, I was thinking about something you had said, and I don't remember what it was now. Anyway, I think that fucking damn it, you said something about him. Can you help me run it back, please?
Her dad's utopian community.
Before that.
That, like, their beliefs were kind of rooted in their values.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I mean that really does show in the very beginning. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the beliefs rooted in the values that really does show at the very beginning, of the book,
Mm-hmm.
because they're talking about doing the what is it, the
Progress.
Pilgrim's Progress. I
Yeah.
keep thinking Pride, and I knew that wasn't
No,
right.
Pilgrim's Pride. Nah, man, Pilgrim's Pride is a dope gay club, though. Yeah, you see a burlesque show there like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah. So, but I mean, with Pilgrim's Progress, it kind of does show like their core beliefs
Mhm.
are yeah.
Rooted in religion. Well,
Yeah, there it is.
So in the book, their dad joins up with the Union Army as a chaplain, despite his age. So it wasn't really clear to me if he was a minister or like just a disgraced wealthy guy who they're kind of like, well, you want to help and you're well educated. This is how you can help.
I'm pretty sure he was a teacher.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure they, Joe, let me fact check that, but I'm pretty sure that he was a teacher.
Well, let's bring up the character list over on Wikipedia. You should give them money, help them stay open.
Yeah.
Wikipedia is a really important resource for people all over the world. Robert Murch, formerly wealthy, the father, is portrayed as having helped a friend who could not repay a debt, resulting in his family's genteel poverty, which is a good way to put that. A scholar and a minister, he served as a chaplain in the Union Army during the Civil War and was wounded in December of 1862. After the war, he became a minister to a small congregation. Okay, so that probably happened in the later books. So Louisa May Alcott married an older man, correct? Much like Joe did in the story. And she, did she open a school like Joe did at all, or did she just spend her life rioting?
You know what? I don't know. But let me.
Well, let's flip over to Louisa May Alcott. Okay. Plain living and high thinking at Fruitlands. There, Alcott enjoyed running outdoors and found happiness in writing poetry about her family, elves, and spirits. She later reflected with distaste on the amount of work she had to do outside of her lessons. She also enjoyed playing... Okay, yep. So at the time she was reading Dickens and Plutarch, Lord Byron, Maria Edgeworth, and Oliver Goldsmith. All of that was going on. During the demise of Fruitlands, they discussed whether the family should separate as Fruitlands was falling apart. So it sounds like her dad was a bit of a dreamer, maybe a bit of a freak.
Yeah.
I'm into it. I knew Louisa May Alcott swung harder than she was letting on in the book. So they lived in Boston.
And Concord.
Started publishing in the 1850s.
And the big book, the big one that got her notoriety was Hospital Sketches.
Yeah,
that's what Britannica said.
which is from, I would imagine, after her Civil War service.
Yes. And one thing though.
Yep. As an adult, she was an abolitionist, temperance advocate, and feminist. He says, interrupting the woman.
Oh, she said the reason that she was sick all the time after she got sent home from working in, like, during the Civil War, that it was mercury poisoning.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, makes sense. So let's see. She wrote Under the Lilacs in 1878 while looking after her dying mother. Decline and death. Alcott suffered from chronic health problems in her later years, including vertigo, dyspepsia, headache, fatigue, and pain in the limbs. Oh, cool. She tried homeopathy, hypnotism, Christian Science. Oh, boy.
Her ill health has been attributed to mercury poisoning, morphine intake, intestinal cancer, or meningitis.
Yeah. Well, you figure you got mercury poisoning, you start doing morphine, then you start doing morphine because you're doing morphine.
Sure. Yeah, as one does.
As one does.
It said she cited her mercury poisoning as the cause of her sickness.
Yeah. Well, and then she died.
Yeah, and she looks like she's buried in Sleepy Hollow Cemetery in Concord, near Emerson, Hawthorne, and Thoreau, on a hillside now known as Author's Ridge.
Well, that's cute that she got to, get laid to rest with her contemporaries. Now, it is interesting because these books come out in 1868 and 1869, which means she's writing basically about the war year, like right after the war and like into the future. So she was writing about the future. That is fascinating to me. That is very interesting because the war ends in 1865, the Civil War. And she releases the books, which are about her family, sort of, but these characters are waiting on their dad to get home from the war. So by the time of the events of the second half, the end of the second half of the book, it wouldn't be 1869. It would be like 1873 or something. It would be later than that, because the war comes to an end before the end of the first book.
Correct.
And the second book, Laurie goes to college for 4 years. And then they bum around for a while, and then they go home, and she talks about what they do for the next couple of years. So, interesting, Louisa May Alcott. If anyone's doing the math on that, she's like predicting the future in the works. That's kind of cool. And if I'm wrong on the math here, please someone write in and tell me. I'd love the comment. Well, let's talk about Little Women. Let's talk about your relationship with Little Women first, because this was your pick.
Yeah.
This was the first pick. Why did you pick Little Women?
My mom used to read it to me.
Okay.
Don't be sorry. Every night before bed. My mom used to read it to me every night before bed. When I was sick. I just really like this book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What character do you think you relate the most to?
If I'm being honest, I'm a little bit Joe and a little bit Beth.
Yeah.
And also Marmee. I relate to all three of those characters. Yeah.
You relate to the mom, the willful child, and the
docile, sickly one.
Docile, sickly one. You contain multitudes, my love. Yeah, I relate to Laurie a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I do.
that.
I think Laurie, I mean, he's kind of a little shit, but he's like well-intentioned, and he's smart but unmotivated, and I get that. You know, well educated, but not, you know, eager to be well applied.
Okay, well then, from my personal observation, I also see a lot of John Brooks in you.
Interesting.
He's practical and stable even through difficult times.
Terrible communicator. Terrible communicator. He is a sweet guy, but he does seem like the quintessential straight guy of all time. Like, just like, which is, I guess, me, but just yes, I go to work and I work hard, and that'll fix everything. And I'm like, I don't know about that, John. I don't know if it will. I think the ending he has, to skip ahead to the end of the book with his son, is very, very sweet.
Mm-hmm.
But let's go back to the beginning. And let's talk about the first book, Little Women. These are it was related, or let's see, it says here, I believe,
Little Women was released in 1868, and Good Wives was 1869.
They were released, I think, in 1880 together.
Yes, because there were little girls all over the globe that were like, we must have it. The little French girls were like, s'il vous plaît, s'il vous plaît.
Aww.
Le petit femme.
Aww.
It's true.
I believe it. Look, this book is incredibly it's incredibly readable, and it doesn't talk down to women.
It's true.
Which
it builds them up, I think.
Yeah.
It reminds women, like, that you don't have to have nice clothes and like, you know, money to fashion your character, and fashioning your character, I think, is something that humanity forgets as a whole.
Right.
We need to do better at that.
Yeah. I agree. Well, and it doesn't even disparage those things. Sure. Like, characters disparage it. I think I think some characters disparage it, but there are characters that we love that are kind of materialistic, and they're like, you know what, I do better if I have shit. And sure. There are other characters who are like, well, that's not important to me, but I still love you. Which is hard for me to swallow, because materialistic bullshit bothers me. But let's start with who does Little Women follow? It follows the March family.
It does.
Who are the Marches?
It's the beginning of the book is introduced with the 4 March girls.
Yep.
And that's we'll start from oldest to youngest.
As does the book.
As does the book. First is Meg. She is the oldest. She is 16, I believe.
When it starts.
It starts. And then Jo is the second oldest, and she is 14, I believe.
I think she's 15.
15, because Beth is 13.
Yeah.
And Amy is 10.
Yes.
And so anyway, Meg is she's a really dutiful daughter. She doesn't really she follows all the things that Marmee say, like yeah, I can't get that sentence out. But anyway, so Jo is the second oldest, and she is a writer. She's gregarious. She
she's a roughhouser. She's a shit talker.
Yeah.
She's always and she's the closest thing the story has to a main character.
Yeah.
All of the girls are covered very well, but Jo is the writer, and it's sort of implied that she is writing the story at certain points.
Sure.
But well, because it said at the end, and this is the time when she started writing down the story of her life in the second book, as
Right.
if acknowledging that the first book was written by Jo.
Right.
Which is like good in world building stuff. I like that it was happening in like literary fiction. Yeah, so the March Girls, it starts on Christmas. And these
Christmas just won't be Christmas without any presents, exclaimed Jo.
right. And these girls were formerly wealthy some years ago, and they talk about this. And I actually, as someone who I lived overseas and experienced a great amount of wealth there, but that wealth doesn't translate, to the States. The culture shock of having needing for nothing, and then all of a sudden, suddenly you got to work for your dinner. And these girls,
Been there.
these girls they've been, I think one term would be temporarily embarrassed. Their family has fallen on hard times, or harder times. They were quite wealthy, and now they are not. And not so unwealthy that they cannot, that there ain't going to be food on the table, but if they want things, they have to buy them, or they have to work for them.
Yeah.
Which is not something young girls in their station had to do.
Right, and two of them now have jobs. Meg
Right.
is a governess, and Jo works for Aunt March.
Right, who is a pill.
And also extremely wealthy.
Extremely
wealthy, but the March family doesn't ever ask Aunt March for
Right.
anything.
Well, because Aunt March is a pill.
Well,
I mean, also, their dad didn't really care about money.
sure.
Or in the same way that some people in the family do.
Sorry, I can't stop yawning.
You're all right. So, Christmas morning, they give their dinner to their breakfast to a poorer family, and they get a good. And I gotta be honest, reading this, I was going a little, all right. This laying it on a little thick. These are little angels, and like, and as the story progressed,
This is probably why I gave away my heroin when I was a junkie. It's because of this fucking book.
because being kind is virtuous, and they did it because it was virtuous, not even because they enjoyed it,
They
just
did
because
it to help.
they just knew it was the right thing to do.
I respect that.
And I do too. No, it's totally the right thing. It was a very noble thing to do. But then they went home and they had breakfast. And we gave away our breakfast, and then they went home and had breakfast, and that made me laugh a little bit. Because they had bread and milk for breakfast, which, you know what? Not a bad breakfast. All things considered.
But I mean, in fairness, they had like
They did have Christmas breakfast.
Christmas breakfast with
which,
like sausage and butter and.
I know the name of the family is
The Hummels.
The Hummels, yes. And the Hummels appear again.
Yikes.
Not too much further along in the
To
story.
Beth's detriment.
We get to learn a little bit about the girls and their temperaments. I would say Meg is pretty practical. Jo is precocious, interested in being a writer. Beth is quiet.
She's shy. She doesn't.
She went to school for a while, but she did not do well there.
She said she'd rather just stay home and do the things.
Yeah, and like work around the house. And then Amy is
self-centered, spoiled.
She's a baby. She's the
selfish.
baby. It's interesting because Meg also is a little selfish because she remembers being rich the best. Like she was already enjoying some of the benefits of that as an older child, and the others don't remember it as well. It's surprising where she ends up because of that. Or not surprising maybe, but Amy's a little selfish, but she is also thoughtful. Like she does think about others.
Right, like at the very beginning when they're gonna buy Marmee a present, right?
Right.
And she buys a really tiny bottle of perfume, so she'll have money left over, and then she ends up taking the thing back and spent all the money on a big bottle of perfume. And she's like a little sister. She's a little shit. She gets angry because she doesn't get to go to a party. She burns the opera.
She burns Joe's manuscript.
Yep. I didn't do it.
Right.
Yeah, you did.
Which if my brother had done that and I had written a whole thing, I would have murdered him.
Damn. Well, if your brother dies, I already know where they're going to come looking first.
He took one of my manuscripts. So, yeah, started like Amy's almost the villain of the piece at the beginning.
Oh,
like because she just kind of sucks. She wants stuff, she can't have
10.
Because she's 10.
Yeah.
She doesn't have to work for anything yet, and she's going to school. She wants the problem is she's going to school with a bunch of rich girls, and she doesn't have the things the rich girls have, and that's what she wants. Meg and Joe are kind of settled, although Meg is like, I'm going to marry wealthy at first.
Yeah.
Because it'll just make things easier.
Well, also that's the oldest child's job.
Right. Well, that's a good point.
That's their job. That's the woman's job is to. You got to find you a rich man, and then they call us gold diggers a couple of years later. What the fuck?
But yep, that's the way it goes. Misogyny.
Some bullshit.
It is some bullshit. So,
which I think is interesting really quickly because Louisa May Alcott was like, she was a feminist.
Yes.
She was a known feminist.
Yes.
And
a suffragette. She fought for the vote.
And so, but like she's writing about these women who, except Beth, who fucking died.
Yeah.
They all got married.
Yeah.
They all had their happy ending with the man because that was something that they also wanted. I don't know. I wish you would have. I would have liked to have seen Joe be a big old dyke, man. Sorry, let's cut that out. I'd like to see Joe be a big lesbian.
Leave it in. I say leave it in. No, I get that. I really like the guy she ends up with.
Oh,
I'm not like I don't think Laurie should have ended up with her.
No, fuck that. Felix is divine.
Yeah, but I don't think Laurie should have ended up with one of her sisters. That kind of bothers me too. Graduation party for Laurie, and she and he's like, hey, before we get into whatever nonsense this is gonna be, I want you to marry me. And she's like, I don't love you, man.
She's like, nah, fam.
He's like, you're my
I'm sorry.
Like, you're my best friend, can't marry you. And he's like, you've known this entire time I'm in love with you. And she's like, well, I kind of told you I wasn't into you. And he's like, yeah, but like, it's weird, right? And she's like, yeah, it's weird. And he's like, it's weird, right? And she's like, yeah, it's really weird. And he's like, fine, I guess I'll fuck off. And he fucks off, like a bit of a crybaby. and is sad about it for about 6 months. And then who should he run into in Europe? Lil Amy, who is now, I guess, 18. They've both been in Europe for a little while. She's been in Europe a little longer than he has. She ran into a prospective suitor earlier in the trip in England.
Freddie Vaughn.
Freddie Vaughn.
Fred Vaughn, who was one of Teddy's old college.
Okay. So, Meg and Laurie meet up in...
Amy and Laurie.
Amy and Laurie meet up in Europe. And they're bumming around. His grandfather's running his business out of France. Her aunt's in England.
And Amy's like learning how to paint. She's like refining being a lady.
Right. And Laurie, and she thinks maybe I can make a career of this, but probably not. I don't think that's what I'm meant for. And Laurie's like, I'm going to be, for a brief moment, he's like, I'm going to be a professional pianist or composer.
Because that's what he wanted to be, but his grandfather was like, no, you're gonna take over my merchant business. And
but also he wants to pour all of his passion and sorrow into this project, and he's gonna win Joe's affection. And then he kind of
realizes, you're not German enough, my dude.
He doesn't want to do that, really. And through the process of failing at this, he kind of gets over Joe. And Amy sort of like chastises him for being a...
Lothario.
Well, not even that, because he's not like, so far as we know, not really chasing skirts. He's just being drunk and sad and loud. And,
sure.
But she's like, hey, man, you got to get your shit together. And he's like, hey, who are you? Tell me what you do. You sound like your sisters. Wah. And then he runs into her after this, failed experiment, runs back into her, and he's like, you were right. And they get hitched on their way back to America. And they're running back to America because Beth is dying. And she spends some time...
She's died.
That's right. By this point, by the time they make
Amy
it back...
Amy gets a letter, I think, while they're in Paris.
By the time they make it back, Beth has died. And I thought that was a little stupid. They're like, don't ruin their time in Europe. And like, I don't know, man. I would have... Like, they hid it from them, which I don't think is right, but it's complicated. It's time of steamships and letters and stuff. It was a choice. This part of the story, the second half, there's a lot of, like, people making choices for other people in the family.
Yeah.
That I think is often portrayed as, like, a thoughtful thing to do, instead of, like, well, you're kind of fucking with their autonomy and decision-making that they could be making. So, yeah, how do you feel about that section of the book, the Europe section? I feel like I come on strong with that because I have feelings about the ending of Laurie's story.
Okay, so it doesn't really... I don't know. I kind of agree. I think I don't like the fact that they kind of didn't tell Amy what was going on, right?
Right.
And you are right. Like it is a time at the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, and like, it's harder to communicate that way, but I think in times of family crisis where somebody might die, they shouldn't worry about that so much. Just reach out anyway.
Are you okay?
Yep.
Okay. How do you feel? You are kind of pro Amy and Laurie.
Okay, well, It's tricky because he has, like, as a kid and even a teenager, I didn't make the connection of he's known her since she was, like, a child.
Right. And he was almost an adult. Like,
sure. Sorry. And I think, yeah, I'm okay with it. And I think it's more just me being a fangirl of the story. And
right.
I do think it's weird that he, like, showed up back in Concord with, like I said, meet my wife, your sister, ta-da!
Yeah.
And their whole courtship is kind of muddy. I don't know, like...
It does just feel like he
just... I'm a little fuzzy on what happens in the book, but I remember in the... I remember the 1994 movie the best because that one I watched all the way through high school on VHS. But like I'm pretty sure it happens in the book. He proposes to Amy the second time they meet, and
they've been like chilling,
right?
But like,
and he tells her that she's like, I don't want to marry you. You're still in love with my sister. And he's like, I've always known I was meant to be a member of the March family.
Right.
He was like, if Beth had a lover, I would despise her, kind of thing.
Right.
Him and then he's like, and she's like, I don't want to be loved for my family. And then he like goes and proves himself, and then comes back.
Yeah.
And is like, hey.
I think it's more that he like shows her that he's like serious and he's taking an interest in
what I mean.
In the business and everything. I mean, I don't know. I also think it's a little...
It's so rushed.
It's quite rushed. Especially compared to the other sister stories.
Sure.
And I do think at the end of the day, I think they're gonna make each other worse. Now, I haven't read...
Well, they got that sickly baby to worry about.
That's true. So. That'll give them character.
Yeah.
What you need if you're rich is a sickly baby.
Yeah, a sickly baby. Get you a sickly baby.
Yeah, I think that just makes you selfish about the
asshole,
kid.
Yeah.
But, okay, and finally... to round, Beth and Joe have a very lovely... I cried a bit. You know, their trip to the beach, where Beth is just kind of like, I know I'm gonna die. I never even really thought about the future.
Yeah. And that was always Beth's character anyway, though. Like, she just was really, she was always worried about being present and not about what's happened in the past or the future.
Right. And, I think that's probably the most beautiful writing in the book is that chunk. So Beth dies, and then Friedrich comes back to or comes to Concord. And Joe runs into him and is very happy to see him. And they continue their friendship until he's like, I gotta go because clearly this isn't gonna work out. It's, oh no, this has been ongoing while Beth was dying.
Yeah.
Because
she sent him her book.
Yes.
She finished her book after Beth.
Yes. Oh, and also I think it's interesting to mention that, like, she stopped writing salacious fiction when he kind of judged her for it.
Yeah.
He's like, you're better than this. And I don't really think there's anything wrong with writing whatever you want or whatever you need to pay the bills, you know? Like, you know, don't write Nazi manifestos or anything like that. But... You know, like, if you're just writing something because you're getting a paycheck, she was helping her family out. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But it is frustrating when you're writing something and you know your passion and abilities don't lie there.
Yeah.
So I kind of get both sides of that.
Well, I mean, I think the reason he was being judgy with her was because she asked him to send her manuscript to one of his publisher friends. And I think he was like, "Well, this is good."
Oh, maybe I misremembered.
Well, he helps get the book published at the end.
Yes, the one about her family, which is sort of which and she finally he's about to leave town, and she's like, and that's kind of a beautiful scene too, because it's her trudging around town with him, and their whole disposition changing throughout this muddy, rainy day, and they're so miserable at the start, and by the end they're so happy because it's resolved. They've figured out, no, we're in love with each other. Thank God.
Because I was about to leave.
Yeah, I was about to leave. I thought you were still into this Laurie cat. And she's like, no.
I was never into Laurie.
He's like married to my sister.
Yeah,
now.
like they're like married.
Yeah, it's weird.
They live next door.
Yeah, and he walks with her and holds the umbrella, and they kiss all sloppy like.
Hot.
In the rain.
Hot.
And they get married and start a boarding house with help from all their rich friends.
Yeah, and it's Aunt March's house.
And
it's
Aunt
that's
March
right. Died.
Aunt March dies
and left the house to Joe. That is where my favorite line from the movie comes from, where she goes, "Decrepit old spinster."
But yeah, it's that's the book. I don't know. Final thoughts on anyone who maybe hasn't read the book and would still on the edge of picking it up.
I feel like it's important to read it because it's definitely a piece of classic American literature. But I think it also is a solid reminder of taking care of ourselves and taking care of each other. It's like the feminist literary version of Ted Lasso.
Aw.
Yeah.
That's a lovely way to put it. Not as funny as Ted Lasso, but also like pretty funny.
But sometimes. That part where like Amy burns Joe's manuscript, hilarious.
Not funny at all.
Oh, he would be
funny.
So mad.
I would be furious. But you ain't gonna catch me with just one copy. So, also, let's see. We've got any final thoughts for me? I think I would have benefited from reading this sooner. I wish I had read this when I was 12. You know, I think I would have understood girls better.
Sure.
Would have helped some. I think this should be like mandatory reading for middle school boys. Not because they'll understand it fully or appreciate it or think it's exciting, but because I think they might understand their classmates a little bit better.
I think it also subtly helps you fashion your character, as Marmee would say.
I think so too. And you know, it's good to read books about good people sometimes. So next month, February, we will be reading John Dies at the End, the horror comedy by Jason Pargin, aka David Wong. One of my favorite working writers. Also has an adaptation.
I've never read the book, but I've seen the movie.
Yeah, and it's hilarious. It's weird and rambling and strange, and comes from
just like me.
A mind I respect a lot. If you're unfamiliar with Cracked.com, was one of the editors over there for a really long time, and this is a book this is my pick for the beginning of the year. From there, we don't know where we're going yet.
We have a whole schedule of things to come for the rest of 2026. Yes. But after John Dies in the End, we have a guesty spot.
That's right.
We'll be letting you know at the end of February who will be joining us.
and what we'll be reading.
Correct.
That
would be helpful.
Thank you so much, guys. Stay tuned for plugs.
Bye.
All right, so I've got a few things I'd love people to check out. First, this is a podcast about books, and I am a writer of books. I've written 3 books. The first is a short story collection called Midnight Thoughts. The second is my first novel called A Million Butterfly Wings. It's a story about a girl born in rural Indiana who knows everything, literally everything. And third, the new one just came out. It's called Magic in the Holler. I'd love if people check that one out. It's a novella about a unscrupulous reporter trying to chase a story in rural Appalachia and gets caught up with some magic-wielding hillbillies. And I think it's very Stephen King-y, and people like it if they're into that kind of thing. What about you?
Am I supposed to say my name again?
Yeah.
Oh.
Or no. You can, just say. Yeah.
Okay, so you can find my art on presence.through.art on Instagram. You can also check out my band, Jazz on My Face. We are a musical comedy band located here in Colorado Springs. We do open venue, and we would love to be at your next show. Find us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Jazz, JAZZ, on my face.
You can find all of those links in the comments below. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky, wherever as well. All right.
Follow you to your mom's house.
Love you all different amounts. Goodbye.